Hi everybody, this is Bert with Pinpoint. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of our application so you can get a sense of how Pinpoint is helping software development teams build software better. We're going to start in our organizational view. You can see by the navigation on the left that we break down the application by organization and teams, along with just a standard data explorer. So with the organizational view, we have two different views, the epics view and the teams view. We'll get to the teams view in just a second. The epics view allows you to see all of the strategic items that you're currently working on within your organization. I can filter this quickly by everything, what's in progress, what's blocked, and if an epic has no open issues, we can also look at that as well. So this tends to lead towards a completed epic, but until you actually close it out within your ticketing system, we just call this no open issues. Now, I'm going to go ahead and look at my blocked issues here. This is that's important to me because I can see the strategic items that have one or more blockers associated with it. I can also filter this feed down if I wanted to look at this by title or the actual issue identifier. This helps me to quickly locate the information that I want to see. Now, as I look at the Epic cards here, I can see that, as an example, with our Team Wolf, they're working on a notification feed. If I need a little bit of information, I can see that this was last active 4 hours ago, so highlighting over that identifier will give me that information. I can see the breakdown of total number of issues, what's actually been closed, the dark green bar here, what's in progress, the striped green bar, as well as the items in progress that are blocking this particular, or blocked in this particular case. This will also do a breakdown of the types of issues that are within this particular epic. So I can see that we have a bug in there, which represents about 5% of the total issues, and then the majority of these are going to be either features or other types of issues. So those could be tasks or design items. Now, when I look at this in more detail, I also see that we have our epic risk algorithm at work here. So this is telling me that based on our machine learning and data science that's specific to Pinpoint, we're going to give you a estimated data completion. So 3 days to completion. Now, if I click on that, it's going to give me a little bit more information to tell me why we think this is the case. So one, there are 10 issues yet to be done. Issues in this epic on average take 4 days to complete. And so Pinpoint can give you a 50% confidence level that will be completed by the 29th of April, but a 90% confidence level that it will be completed by the 2nd of May. This is really important when you're planning out, how to do your releases and seeing aspects of risk associated to a particular item that is strategic for your business. So this helps you to really have a better overall estimation and planning of these types of issues. So that's why we break down the epic risk as we do here. Now, if I need to actually get to this item, I can always click here and see a full list of the activity associated with this particular item. You can see that we're pulling all the information in from the underlying source systems. I can see the total number of issues that are funneled up here. If I need to click on any particular issue that may still be in progress here, I can do that. We can look at items that have been recently completed, see their pull request history. We have that full chain of activity directly from that organizational view. So a really solid way for us to keep track of the work and make sure that we have the ability to up-level that information across the organization. Now, another thing that's important about the organizational view is the Teams page. So clicking on Teams, I can see all of the current sprints. Now, we are focused at this point in time on sprints, but we do plan to bring in Kanban here and other types of teams here as well. But what's important here is I can see where we have potential risk. So if I look at my in progress sprints, I can see that I have one team that's doing sprints, and we do have a level of risk. So in terms of where we're at in the course of the sprint and how much we've actually completed, we're starting to get a little bit behind. Nothing is, no issues at risk yet, but we can see that we're starting to, as a team, get behind. And that's what that yellow bar indicates here. If this was blue, this would mean that we're on track. If it's red, it means we're very well behind. Or even in this case, as we look at the data science team, past due on our sprint completely. Much like we saw with the Epic cards, we are going to break down the types of issues within this organization. Another key aspect of this is the ability to let you know how that feature breakdown is in relationship to the actual bugs and things like that that they may be working on as well. So that represents our organizational view. Now, as a executive or as a manager, director, if I see that a team's in a particular state, I can always click in to get more info. Again, we can bring you right to this sprint. When I see the risk, I can see that we have a member of the team that is over capacity. And that's exactly what the stand-up view, or the daily view as we call it, is designed to do, is to help you understand the risk to the work that's being done. Furthermore, we can actually expand out and we see an activity history. So this is in conjunction with the sprint. This is the team as we have it broken down here with our team members, and then all of the activity from all the source systems that we integrate. So I can see where we have pull requests being merged, issue status updates, issues getting created. And I can dive into this information to see the more detailed level data that I need to see, whether it's linked to a particular issue, how many commits are associated with that. If I need to get to any of those commits, I can always direct link back to that source system by clicking on the shop, or go to this pull request in GitHub just by clicking on the GitHub link here. Understanding how this breaks down in terms of the actual sprint, we want to showcase capacity for you, so we actually look at the capacity of the team over time and understand when they do the most work, so that if you are a manager or team lead, I can quickly look at Wednesdays and see that 9% of the work for the course of the sprint is going to be broken up to a Wednesday. I see where Tuesdays tend to be our biggest delivery points with 10% of the sprint, Mondays and the weekends certainly following a little bit after that. This gives you a sense of when to expect the bulk of work to be completed during the course of that sprint. We also have our forecasting models, where we look at about 150 data points to help understand when we predict this particular issue or how long this particular issue will take to complete. We look at a number of different factors. Story points can be included if your teams are using those, but they are not required. But we gather all this information and look at 6 months to a year back for the individual assigned to this particular item, so that we can understand how well they deliver work of this type, how long it typically takes, and utilize that as part of our risk analysis. Additionally, we can tell you when you have work that's unplanned or maybe blocked by a particular teammate. They may be working on another team, helping out with some additional issues. You may have dependencies on issues that get blocked here. So Pinpoint does a really good job of helping you understand when is this unplanned work coming in, how is it affecting the team's utilization, so that you understand the risks to a successful sprint. Now, you can always filter this down to an individual. So if I want to look at just what Jeff is working on here, I can see his activity. If there are particular items that need attention for Jeff specifically, I'll see that as I walk through the team. We get more and more data about each and every one of them. This is a great way to host a stand-up and actually walk through the team and get that rolling. So for the team as a whole, we also have our dashboard. And so this is going to be a roll-up view where we can see all the activity associated with a particular team. Again, we see the activity feed, another key piece to how we see up-to-the-minute information. I can look at the general activity of the team. So I'm seeing whether there's merged PRs, we have closed issues, or just commits here. All that activity throughout the course of the last 14 days, so that you can actually see the dates here at the bottom representing that information. Now, if I click on a closed issues, this is going to take me to all of the issues that have been closed in this particular amount of times, linking me directly to the Data Explorer. and it's pre-filtered based on that particular time frame that we were looking at and the type of issues that we were searching for. So this is going to also filter to the team I was looking at, so all that data right there available for you, so you can go and look at that history of information. Coming back to the stand-up view, we're also going to help you understand how well this team is doing just in terms of some general metrics. We can see that we have 2 days on average cycle time. From a traceability standpoint, or how well the team links data back to a particular source system, then or code to a particular source system, then I can see that we're averaging about 74%, which is very good. We want to try to get that up to 100%, but 74% is a pretty good amount for our traceability. 17 different workflows. Now, this is understanding the projects that are associated with my team and how well they actually follow the process or where things get off the rails. I can click on that. I'm going to do that and open it into a new tab here. And as I switch tabs, you'll see that we can see that issue workflow in a very organic fashion. Now for us, if I highlight over the center, I can see work required, going into an in progress state, awaiting validation, to closed, or actually going through an acceptance state to close. This would be considered our happy path, what was predefined for us in Jira. But what Pinpoint wants to help you understand are where those outliers exist. So as I scroll up and click, you can see that we are looking at tickets that are actually going backwards in status before they're closed out. And so I can see that in this particular case, over the last 14 days, we had one of these tickets go off the rails. This is a great thing to discuss in the retrospective, and I can get more information just by clicking into there. I can see all the activity history here associated with this particular ticket. If I need to filter that down, just look at the comments, I can do that. I can see that we didn't have a very well-defined story here, which could be, very much part of the problem with this particular issue. Now coming back to our dashboard, again, we can see how many PRs were active during this time. I can see the PRs that are currently under review. I have some that have been open for 8 days. If I need to dive into that, I can look at that information right away, see the commits coming in, read more about this particular PR, and hopefully help remove some blockers to that particular issue so we can get that approved and merged in. We're also going to bring in some of the top level metrics here. And again, this is going to be filtered by activity by default. So you can see what has the most activity, but also we want to help you understand the items that are strategic for this team, which is another key piece here. Finally, I'll come over to the Analyze page. This allows you to get detailed information about your people. We already saw that issue workflow in progress. But if you want to see the average cycle time for your individual folks, PRs created, PRs approved, PR comments, this is a great spot to go and get all that information, as well as continue to see that activity feed of the team across the board. And then lastly, we're going to look at the Data Explorer. Now the Data Explorer allows you to do just as you would expect. You can filter and search and query all of the information that we're exporting out of those source systems. So if I want to look at all issues, I can see that I have this breakdown here. But let's say I want to go look at all the pull requests. Well, this is great information. I can easily get all the pull requests across all the different repos that my teams are working in. What about open pull requests? Well, now it's just a click away and I can see everything that's currently open. I may want to go and filter that by what's been reviewed already. So if reviewed is true, let's go ahead and save that change. And then ultimately, we need to go and see by a particular team. Let's go to the Tiger Kings. I can see all of the PRs open for the Tiger Kings as you see here. So this is going to be, again, another good way to see that information and to get all that detail in one place. Last thing, and this is something new that we've recently introduced, is across any of the teams, anywhere in the application, if you need to find specific information, you can always search for it. So hitting Command K or Control K on Windows brings up my search screen. Now, if I want to look at the Instructions, I can search based on keyword, I can search based on project or pull request, any of that information. We also offer a Lucene syntax, so if I want to do actually more structured searching, I can do that as you see down here below. But let's say I want to just look up risk. By typing in risk, we're actually going to pull back all the information associated with risk. So that's going to be across multiple projects, it could be across multiple PRs. All that information is going to be pulled into one place. And I can actually see the details of that particular issue or PR right here in the search, or necessarily I can click right on it and get right back into that particular item. Now, if I want to look at something a little bit more natural language, like I want to look at my team's PRs, we can filter by that as well. So I can see all the PRs associated to my team that are currently open and have activity. So again, if I need to get to that description, I can, but all of that across multiple different repositories right there from just my keyboard. If I want to look at my team information, now we're going to pull back anything associated with my team that may include PRs, that could include issues, anything like that is all right there. For my open issues, again, it's going to pull back anything that is related to me. Unfortunately, I don't have any open issues at this time. So I hope you enjoyed what you're seeing here with Pinpoint and get a feel for how this might help your teams. Certainly, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We're always here at pinpoint.com.